I'm part of the layoffs that Amazon announced this morning, so that's fun.
No, says Amazon. We got that beat. We're laying off 14,000 people.
So I got laid off from Amazon on Tuesday. This was Amazon's largest layoff in the history of the company.
If Amazon can cut 14,000 jobs 62 days before Christmas, what makes you think that your job would not cut you?
Amazon has cut about 14,000 corporate jobs, and there are reports that that number could be upwards of 30,000 by the end of next year. And all of this is happening while their profits are soaring, their stock is at record highs, and they just added $300 billion in market value in one day. Now, it appears that AI isn't actually stealing these 14,000 jobs, or at least it's not doing it in the way that a lot of people think. So I wanted to cover this topic, show some examples of some of the poor people who have been laid off, and also look at the bigger picture. Because if Amazon is laying off this many people, it raises a really big question. Who is actually safe in their job?
Well, Amazon just said, since everybody already knows what we are planning on doing, let's just go ahead and get the process started. There are questions on whether these layoffs are related to their investments in AI. It costs a lot of money to build up data centers. Bezos has been selling down his positional stake within a company significantly over the last few months.
Well, maybe Bezos has to pay off his $50 million wedding he had last summer. I'm going to get into that momentarily, but I just wanted to read some of the comments here because they are not very nice to Amazon. Stop buying stuff from Amazon if they want to lay off people and see what happens without us. It's a great point. What are they going to do without all of their consumers? I see a hashtag boycott Amazon movement coming soon. Another one here, start going to the mall if you have any that are left around where you live. Last one in the same vein, boycott Amazon and the greedy big companies. We need to fight back. And you know, all of the people who are lucky enough to keep their jobs with Amazon are going to have to do more. They're going to have to pick up the slack for all of these 14,000 people. So they're going to have to do more for the same pay. You know what I call that? A pay cut.
So I think I got laid off. I work in marketing at Amazon. I got this text on my phone at 6 a.m. My manager scheduled a call with me in 10 minutes, so let's find out. Really shaking.
First of all, I want to just say that I'm sorry. That
was only 10 minutes. Now I get to do full-time content, so
now she's doing TikTok full-time because she's got no job. And they took 10 minutes in the meeting with her to lay her off. I guess that's all you can do when you're laying off 14,000 people. How busy has their HR department been? Here's a fun fact. Amazon reported $155.7 billion in net sales in Q1 2025. That was up 9% versus 2024. So it's not like they can't afford to keep these people. But I guess this is how you stay on top. You got to be ruthless.
I was laid off by Amazon. I was one of the 14,000 employees that were affected today. They sent out an email at 5 a.m. I think so that people don't have to go to the office if they are laid off. I'm still processing what just happened. I guess I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for what to think, what to feel.
I am sorry to everyone out there who has lost their job at Amazon or anyone else due to AI or whatever the other reason. I have seen so many examples of people losing their jobs, having a really tough time to find a job in this current job market. So I feel for you, and it sucks. Another fun Amazon fact, for Q2 2025, Amazon's net sales rose to $167.7 billion. That is a 13% increase year over year. Yeah, the company's doing just fine. So this is him getting fired or laid off by Amazon. I didn't have any questions for them, just questions for myself. What am I going to do with my life? Will I define myself beyond what my job is? And I think it's good for everyone to think about their identity beyond just their career, because I'm seeing so many examples in this day and age, older workers, younger, everywhere in between, people getting laid off, not given any reason, people who have been good workers, worked hard, been dedicated, loyal to the company, and then just kicked to the curb. And then that is one of the big questions. What is my actual identity? Who am I beyond what my job title is, or in this case was? One of the comments is pretty heartfelt and I think appropriate. This has nothing to do with you and everything with Amazon squeezing out as much profits as possible. One more comment because I think it brings up a really good point. HR seeing the mirror in the background, and the symbolism is that many of those HR people could be laid off pretty soon. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be feeling sorry for the HR folks unless they're actually in HR. But I mean, hey, they're people too. And to speak to this, IBM announced that it's slashing part of its HR department and replacing many of those functions with AI systems.
I am one of the 14,000 employees impacted. I was a senior social media manager in Amazon ads, and earlier this month, I actually celebrated my 1-year anniversary. And it was the closest I've ever come to a dream role. I was flown out to work my first Cannes line. I interviewed celebrities on the red carpet, some that I had fangirled over since I was a little kid. But most importantly, I worked at a globally recognizable company that I knew made my immigrant parents proud. And even my grandma knew what Amazon was. It also actually is exactly 1 week from my birthday. I guess my present from Amazon just came a little bit early.
While working for just one corporation for one's entire career is definitely more like a pipe dream these days. And if we look down in the comments, one is great. After your first layoff, you realize there is no such thing as a dream job. Next comment, 7 years at Amazon, laid off today. One more, corporations are not loyal. Well, they're not loyal to their employees that aren't the senior ones. And another fun Amazon fact, its trailing 12-month revenue is listed at about $670 billion. Have you heard anything different with Amazon, or what's going on with your job? Have you been laid off? Leave a comment down below. Another poor Amazon employee. Fun Monday afternoon learning your company is laying off 30,000 people starting tomorrow morning via email. Yeah, as I've shown in other videos, I'll leave some links below. A lot of these companies are just brutal when it comes to the layoffs. In a lot of cases, the HR employees are in there, but the person's manager is not in on the meeting when they are getting let go, and they're not giving any information as to why they're being let go beyond the usual, oh, we're trying to be more agile, or it wasn't a good fit, or some cookie cutter kind of explanation like that. One of the comments brings up a fantastic point I wanted to dive into a little bit deeper. So he has $56 million to spend on his wedding, but can't afford to pay employees. Well, look, Bezos doesn't actually work for Amazon anymore. At least he's not the CEO anymore. And yeah, his wedding was around $50 million reportedly. So I'm sure a lot of the employees don't feel real good about that. He just got married last summer. It was in Venice, surrounded by yachts, fireworks, and celebrity guests. Meanwhile, in the real world, like the video I just put out on the ridiculous cost of living, people with what used to be considered good paying jobs are struggling to even pay rent, and in some cases just giving up entirely and living in their car. People with a job living in their car. I spoke about the wealth gap in that video as well and show some facts and figures, but this wedding shows the wealth gap under a different and perhaps more tangible light. So some fun facts about it. There are about 200 celebrity guests that attended, including Kim Kardashian and Oprah Winfrey. Guests arrived by water taxi through the Venice canals. Usher performed live. My ultimate thought is this. While billion-dollar companies are rewarding shareholders while cutting paychecks, and billionaires throw multi-million-dollar parties and weddings while a lot of the rest of us are struggling to afford rent and put food on the table, it says a lot about where we are going as a society.
Well, I'm part of the layoffs that Amazon announced this morning, so that's fun. Nothing like waking up to "we don't need you anymore" in your inbox. Like most millennials, I went to school for ages, have a ton of debt, and can't seem to get anywhere in life.
Like we've seen with a lot of younger people. Like I actually saw an example of an older person who went back to school, got a degree, had a 4.0 GPA, and then couldn't get a job, and they are now driving Uber. Another fun Amazon fact, well, it's not fun, but it's a fact. Net income for the 12 months ending June 30, 2025, about $70.6 billion.
Amazon just did 30,000 layoffs, and it's pretty messed up how they can just destroy people's lives. They demanded return to office. This person had to totally relocate from San Diego to Seattle, and 2 months later gets laid off. These big companies need to be held accountable because it actually ruins people's lives.
That's a good point. A lot of the people that get laid off can be totally screwed. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, even if they're making a decent salary, even if they have one of these good corporate jobs with Amazon. I just saw an example of a special needs mom. Her son was just diagnosed and she was laid off. The corporations care about the profits, not the people. A lot of people know that. I just feel like I have to say it over and over. One of the comments is awesome. Amazon laid me off in 2023. I'm in law school now. I'll see them in 20 years. Another one, boycott Amazon people now. And he made a really good point. I feel so sorry for all of those people who had to go back and work in the office. Who cares if the people were actually happy working remotely? We're going to bring them back in. And if they're not happy with it, if they have to move, if they're screwed, well, screw them.
These companies can absolutely afford to pay staff because it was never about making sure the bottom were taken care of. Once again, the whole system we work in only works if there is cheap or unpaid labor. And the thing is, we have been the cheap labor, right? So now it's going to be just unpaid. AI's taking it all and our resources, right? Like, we're competing for water, electricity. But thank God the big, beautiful bill has so much regulation for AI in the next 10 years. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
Yeah, there is no regulation around AI, at least none that protects people's jobs. Europe has some. I covered that on a previous video. I'll leave a link below, but it was more about privacy. It really wasn't protecting humans from AI taking their jobs. And I get it. No country wants to lose the AI race. It's like kind of the US versus China. So if they put protections in place for people, then the country could fall behind in the AI race. One comment brings up a great point. Totally normal for retail and shipping companies to do layoffs leading up to the Christmas season. I hope everyone can sense the sarcasm there.
I need you to understand one thing. If Amazon can cut 14,000 jobs 62 days before Christmas, what makes you think that your job would not cut you? What makes you think your job is safe? Guys, we are living in times where employers don't give a damn about you being a 3-time employee of the month, how much sacrificing you did for the company, neglecting your family. They don't care, guys.
He makes a great point. Amazon needs to have people for the holidays for one. So it's weird that they're cutting all of those people, but they were from corporate positions. They're not cutting anybody from like the warehouses or shipping. No, they'll probably wait to cut those people until, a day after Christmas. One of the comments speaks to this. They'll hire 1,000 more for holidays and then lay off again. They'll probably hire more right before the holidays and then lay off even more than they hired. So I'll speak to this one. Being laid off from Amazon after 8.5 years is chic. Well, in this case, being in style is not cool.
So yesterday I was talking about how Target was laying off 1,800 people. No, says Amazon. We got that beat. We're laying off 14,000 people. 14,000 people. 14,000 people. That's insane. Do you think Amazon is going to feel that? I think they will.
One of the comments says boycott Amazon, and another one follows up. Welcome to the age of AI. Every large corporation in America is going to follow Amazon's lead. Don't know how the people in the comments are going to boycott that. And momentarily, I am going to get into some of the details into why they laid these people off, or at least what the speculation is, because Amazon hasn't come out and said anything that's concrete or frankly honest.
Just read the news this morning and I saw that Amazon has just cut 14,000 corporate jobs. These are like office people with cushy salaries, all just laid off. And I guess the question I have is, does anybody have a plan B? Because, this is coming for everyone. The modern economy is over. Like this, it's about to be a winner-take-all scenario. And, even over here, you're seeing entry-level jobs begin to disappear. You're seeing implementation at high levels at quite an extremely rapid rate. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like, what are we gonna do?
It's a scary thought. I wish I had the answer to that. One of the comments, I have plan A, B, and C, 2 bachelors of mechanical engineering and mathematics and masters in nursing. That's a lot of plans. And I like the engineering degree. I have one of those as well. Great degree, but how long is that going to mean I am safe in my job, right? That's why I'm doing this. And what I've seen with a lot of people is having a plan B, having a side gig, something else they can do if and maybe when they get laid off.
Amazon isn't having problems. Amazon is simply removing problems. It's removing 30,000 problems because all of the different robots that they're replacing these people with aren't going to complain. They're never going to want unions.
So a lot of the rumors are centering around AI or robots taking all of these 14,000 or what could be up to 30,000 jobs. But it appears that is actually not the case, and it's more complicated than what it looks like on the surface.
The announcement that we made a few days ago was not really financially driven, and it's not even really AI driven. Not right now, at least. It's culture, and if you grow as fast as we did for several years, you end up with a lot more people than what you had before. and it can lead to slowing you down.
I'm sorry, but I'm just really skeptical. And ultimately, he said it boils down to culture. But how is laying off 14,000 people going to improve the culture? How are the other employees there that were lucky enough to keep their job going to feel after 14,000 of their coworkers are let go? Is that really going to improve their mood, improve the overall culture of the organization?
Amazon's not firing people because of AI. They're firing people to pay for it. AWS is Amazon's biggest moneymaker. Their cloud business, the thing that basically prints them money. AI infrastructure costs are really, really expensive. These data centers, the NVIDIA chips, they're spending money faster than AWS can make it. Companies are literally begging them for AI computing power. And they can't deliver. They don't have the infrastructure. They can't buy these chips fast enough. They need billions to compete with Azure and Google Cloud. The fastest way to free up some cash? Cut 14,000 salaries from all across Amazon.
Now, this is speculation, and I have heard this from multiple sources, so just keep that in mind. And what he's saying seems really plausible, but this next person explains how they deal with their purse strings pretty well.
Companies are begging for more compute from AWS that they can't fulfill because they can't buy GPUs because they only had so much budgeted to buy GPUs. And they cannot buy more chips without destroying their margin unless they can cut costs other places. And chips are so expensive that the only way they can cut costs is by going after jobs.
So that seems to be a really plausible explanation. And of course, they have money and they could invest more, but they budget for each period of the year, each quarter, each month, what they are going to spend, and they can't exceed that budget without disappointing shareholders. So rather than disappoint shareholders, have the price of the stock go down, they are just letting go of 14,000 people who helped them get to where they are now. Sad, but as far as I can see, that is the true story.
So I got laid off from Amazon on Tuesday, and a lot of people gave me really great advice. So here's my advice if you find yourself laid off. What I would encourage you to do is to share the news with your network. If no one knows that you were laid off, then they don't know how to help you as well.
I'll just speak to number one because I've done videos on the job market before. Number one, sharing news with your network is huge. Throwing out 100 resumes per day does not work at all. The rejection rate is really high when that happens. A lot of those jobs are ghost jobs anyway. So getting with your network, putting yourself out there, trying to get to know people that are working in roles or that are hiring at the companies you want to work for. So what have you heard about Amazon? What do you think the real story is behind the layoffs of these 14,000 people? If you liked the video, I would like a thumbs up. Share it with anyone who you think might like it. If you haven't subscribed, you might as well do it now. It's free. I'm Justin. I put out videos every week, topics related to personal finance and things that really matter. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.